Who do we have sitting?
These are all, no, these are all no. Yeah, these are
Welcome to this game today for any New Zealand supporters back home in be bright and early in the morning over there. I believe, if I'm correct.
3:30.
3:30, yeah, still quite early. I believe today we have Eli, Campbell-Stokes sitting out, and Aidan Heath for the New Zealand side. Sorry for the French supporters, unsure about who is sitting out from your side. This game should be a nice finish off to the round robin for both these teams. I believe New Zealand coming away with the win last time these two sides came up against each other. 20 seconds left before we get underway here.
It will certainly be an exciting match. Oops. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Cool. And we're off.
So New Zealand forwards coming in really flat on the bottom there on that strike. Looking just to push the French players across the pool. But the French players just getting some go forward here, putting the New Zealand defence under some pressure early in this match. But we have a referee's call against the New Zealand side for a illegal knockdown. So France have a really early chance here, fairly close to or quite far into the New Zealand half.
Yes, they're situated just outside the sub bins as France take the vantage puck, trying to drive it straight into the bin, but falling short at 3 metres out. It's gone to the far wall.
New Zealand quite happy just to slow this puck down, try to hold it up on the wall, and keep it under the New Zealand sub bench. But again, we have another referee's call.
New Zealand absorbed the attack there by the French quite well.
Struggling to see where the referee's sitting in the New Zealand sub bin at the moment. Looks like it's an equal puck. Might have popped underneath the barrier, was that call? Or up and over. So we've got an equal puck. 2.5 lanes out from the New Zealand goal.
French player pipped New Zealand puck there on the equal puck. They're driving across the goal. New Zealand's trying to keep it out. They possibly have.
But we have another referee's call. This time it is against the French player for a stick infringement. So New Zealand will be happy just to relieve that pressure a little bit and have an advantage puck about 5 metres out from their back wall. So bang on the 5 and 2 line. Number 3, Nicky, just taking that advantage puck for the New Zealand side, trying to jink past that first player and keep the possession on the New Zealand sticks.
French numbers were down there to stop them though. They had 3 players in there, but New Zealand have managed to break, move further up the pitch. They're now 2/3 of the way down the pitch towards the French goal. And another strong swim by New Zealand. They're now up on the 3 metre line.
Will Heaps just rotating that puck back to his other wings, but the France player just managed to intercept that pass.
New Zealand certainly were linking up well on that attack.
Got a stick infringement against the French here, right on their goal bin. Pretty close to the centre of the pool as well. Oh, getting pushed across to the side a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see what the New Zealand team have in store for us here. Most of the player, or half the team in front of the puck. New Zealand looking to go a little bit wide, but that French player being right on that line where that New Zealand put that puck. But New Zealand now doing a nice turn tackle off that French player, trying to flick forward to his forwards. New Zealand player just managing to hold that puck onto his stick, and now the French players just managing to push them out to their wall. New Zealand coming off with a strong drive. Looks like Samuel Twigg putting a big flick in there. number 11 just laying that puck back, putting the puck back in the middle. A lot of turns here from the New Zealand side.
Each time they get in the puck, the French have got a player there to defend, which is good defence from the French. That's the second time I've seen a New Zealand player on the surface signalling unsportsmanlike conduct, tapping his forehead. I'm not sure what he's trying to imply there.
You never know. It might be a signal for an advantage puck play, but the French doing a very good job here at just pushing the New Zealand side out to the wall. Big flick there from number 10 Heath Galloway going in, but ref has called something up and it is barging against the New Zealand side.
New Zealand being marched back as France get ready to take the puck. Big flick there from the French player over the first New Zealander. It's now sort of General Melee evolving. New Zealand trying to swim it around the back to get away from the French.
Jackson doing a nice turn tackle on that French, but the French player just doing a good job of sticking with him. But it looks like it was an illegal stick infringement there by the French player. So they've been pushed back, and New Zealand will get some fresh legs in and see if they can, with everyone behind the puck here, see if they can make some ground up the pool.
Big flick coming sideways to the near wall. France have managed to stop it coming across and driving straight up the centre. New Zealand scrambling in there, getting the defence line in there. Lots of big flicks and the French players try and go over or around the New Zealand players, but New Zealand's managing to hold them out at the moment, just outside the 5 metre line. France coming in, they've got 2-3 players down, getting very close now, only 3 metres out. New Zealand scrambling in there for the defence.
That French player just trying to do an underbody flick when he had numbers on the bottom. Potentially could have just gone straight to his forwards. New Zealand are able to push them out to underneath their own sub end. So they'll get some players in here when we have a referee's call.
And we're seeing
stick infringing against the New Zealand side, right on the New Zealand goal bin. We'll see where this referee is placing the puck, right out in front, just past the 5 metre line, so about 5.5 metres out. See what the French can come up with here. Big flick going in into the centre channel there, right on the New Zealand goal bin. New Zealand and the French team both got numbers down on the bottom. Puck getting turned back. New Zealand able to just stop that pressure from the French team, and now the referees have called an advantage puck for the New Zealand side, so they'll be happy just to relieve a little bit of pressure and try to make a drive up the pool.
Very tight game from both sides here.
Still 0-0 with 8 minutes left in this first half. Sam Marshall, by the looks of that, just doing a big flick up into the wall. Now Jackson spinning the puck off the wall with numbers on the bottom for the New Zealand side. But that single French player doing a very good job of just stopping that attack. Now Will Heaps trying to dummy through a few players up the centre channel. But we have a referee's call here just as the French get control of that puck.
Yes, just as they're about to start the counter-attack, we've stopped again.
Got an illegal knockdown by that French player. So just stop that puck illegally as the New Zealand were trying to advance on the French team.
Good to see the referees there playing an advantage to see if the New Zealand will get any gain out of that foul, but obviously they didn't, so they called it. France doing well here to stop New Zealand making any ground. Now
Sam Twigg doing a nice turn and just going back the other direction, trying to stretch this French team out. But the French team doing a very good job at stopping the New Zealand switches. But as I say that, New Zealand go on another one, getting numbers on the ground, connecting with his forward. But now it's a 3-on-1 with that only one New Zealander down. But now they've got numbers back on the bottom. Sam doing a very quick flick and now got open space to swim himself. Now linking up with his forward. See if this puck goes in the goal. It looks like we'll have the first goal of the game. We'll see what the referees are saying. and they agree it is a goal. So this is the first goal in this New Zealand versus France matchup. So
Number 8, William Heaps.
Will Heaps, the only member of the team that played at the last World Champs in Hobart. So he'll be very happy to put this New Zealand side out in front with 6 minutes left in the first half.
Okay, the French there taking it back. They're certainly not giving up on this game yet. Still a lot to play for. Only one goal in it, so that very easily they could come back and score.
Will Heaps back in the water, just holding the puck on the wall, but doing a very interesting flick back towards his own goal bin, trying to get it to his player before the French player got there. Now number 7 just holding the puck up. New Zealand side looking very controlled here with what they're doing. Big flick in there by Will Heaps just to link up with Sam Marshall, who now does a little side pass to Jackson. But that French player just trying to get a stick on it. But we have another referee's call, and it is a stick infringing against the New Zealand side, so they'll get pushed back 3 metres, and the French will have an advantage puck about halfway into the New Zealand half. With 5 minutes left in this first half, we'll see if the French side can equalise. Numbers on the bottom from both teams, got almost everyone on the bottom. Sorry for that camera mishap. Heath Galloway doing a nice turn, just trying to get away from 2 of those French players. Now the New Zealand side pushing out, going to the opposite wall, seeing if they can get some fresh legs in right next to their sub-in. Bit of a tussle here on the far side wall as New Zealand just try to reset that puck before they look to come off the wall. Exactly what they do. We got space here for the New Zealand player. Got a 2-on-1. Got a French player coming down. Jackson just doing a nice little chip flick through, trying to outrun these players. An underbody flick that ends up going to a French player, but bounces off him and he regains possession. Now Heath going for a swim himself, trying to turn. French player just putting his arm underneath Heath's body. New Zealand putting a lot of pressure on the French goal bin right here, and it looks like the puck has gone in. Referees are signalling for a goal. So with 4 minutes left in this first half, New Zealand have just put their second goal in. So they'll be happy to start to put a little bit more dominance on this game. But this game's still close, so the French are definitely not out. So New Zealand will have to make sure they continue to put the pressure. But Sam Marshall just finishing that goal off. He did a lot of work in the corner, in the defensive corner, just to break out originally. So he'll be happy that he managed to finish that goal off for the New Zealand side. Another fast strike. The French team just getting to the puck before the New Zealand side does, but New Zealand putting a lot of pressure on them, pushing them towards the wall. Now Sam Twigg coming off on a very strong 45 drive, just a nice little check pass out to Tim Babelar. Now dropping that puck back to number 11, Benjamin Cushman. But now Sam doing another drive straight up the wall, staying down, recycling that puck, and making sure that the puck gets to his own teammate. Now New Zealand doing another strong drive towards the French. Big flick onto the goal bin, and it looks like another goal has gone in. So, the ref is signalling there's a no goal. An advantage being played. Oh, that's an interesting call. There was an advantage being played for New Zealand, but the referee has called it against the French team, even though the puck went in the goal. So New Zealand will have an advantage puck right on the French goal bin to see if they can put their third goal in before the end of this first half.
Yes, 2.5 minutes left to play, as both teams have nearly everyone on the bottom here just short out. New Zealand's attacking the French goal, trying their best to get in there for their third goal. They managed to get it behind the defender, who's turned and curled it. He's taken it away from the goal. It's coming out towards the corner.
But a stick infringement against the New Zealand side, so a missed opportunity there for them. With 2 minutes left in this first half, the French will just try to push this puck out and potentially get a goal before the end of this first half, but definitely want to keep the New Zealand side out from getting a third goal before half time.
No, they would certainly won't want a third goal being scored against them, because that'll make their second half even harder.
but New Zealand doing a lovely switch, but looks like it wasn't legal. The referee just calling up for an illegal knockdown, so the pass that was intercepted by the French coming forward was done illegally. So the French will be happy just to take the puck out wide, but by the looks of things, we have a New Zealand have called their timeout with a minute and a half left in this first half. A very exciting game going on here. Both teams going end to end. This last sort of 5 minutes, New Zealand putting a lot of pressure on the French side, which they will be happy with to end out this half. But New Zealand now doing a little bit of fouling and infringing, so they'll need to keep that to the minimal if they want to keep 6 in the water.
Yes, New Zealand's second goal was a piece of great teamwork with 2 and 3 players down, supporting as a puck went from player to player before they managed to get in the bin. It's interesting that the last goal that was disallowed, I noticed they had 3 New Zealand players taking on 1 French player on the left-hand side here, the nearest camera side, before it went wide and around, and he managed to get the shot towards the goal. So again, New Zealand have got the numbers on the bottom in these attacks to do it.
That New Zealand forward just missing the knockdown from the French player coming through, but very quickly we have another ref call. This time it is a gloving against the French, so a missed opportunity for them to make some ground on the New Zealand side. New Zealand with a minute left on the clock will look to spread this puck potentially to try to make some ground very fast. That's exactly what they do here, cutting across the pool, trying to spread the French team out and try to open up some holes that they can attack through. Jackson going on a big swim, left-handed, just dropping the puck back for his winger, but the French player just managed to get a stick to it. Now we have another New Zealander swimming very hard. It looks like Will Heaps going again. Player that scored the second goal will be interesting to see if he can help his team to put a third goal in.
We've managed to take it all out now, where the French is defending on their 5 metre line, right in front of their sub-spin. And there's the ref call. We've only got 12 seconds left in the game, in this half.
Probably won't be enough time for the New Zealand to set up for this advantage park, and that's exactly what has happened. The referees have called the half time, so both teams will have 3 minutes just to refresh, reset, and see if they can come out stronger than in the first half. New Zealand having a very strong first half, 2 goals up, having a goal disallowed as well, so it was a very interesting call there by the referee, but that's what he saw. So we'll see if these two teams can come out again. France will need a strike back nice and early if they're wanting to stay in this game. But in the last 5 minutes, New Zealand definitely starting to assert their dominance on this game.
New Zealand certainly look like a team that are more prepared to open it up, spread it wide, and go round the French. The French seem to be playing a much more narrower game, which is actually New Zealand's able to counter quite well.
Yes, very similar to I watched the under-19s this last match-up, the same New Zealand versus the French team last time they played each other, and very similar game style today. The French wanting to in that first game wanting to play a very narrow game, and New Zealand managing to open them up. I believe the scoreline was a little bit bigger than what it is now. So the French doing very well at just countering that New Zealand swimming game and keeping the puck closer to the wall. But as we see, when the New Zealand team decides to open the game up, they can be very aggressive and turn this game around. So we see that they've put two goals in, both goals being started deep into their own half and driving up into the French half.
Yes, New Zealand's goals both have come off very good team plays where they've managed to make great ground and catch the French short. and working their way up the pool, sort of almost rolling them back each time. The French are certainly going to be very wary of that. Okay, Chief Referee Nathan is getting ready to start. We've got 30-second warning. Haven't quite picked up on who the water referees are.
So both teams here were wanting to come out nice and strong and try to put some early pressure on the other. 10 seconds left before the first strike of the second half.
I think ideally the French will want to score really quickly to rattle New Zealand and possibly then start their comeback. Sorry about that, forgot to send to the camera.
Another strong strike here from the New Zealand side, but that puck just going through to no one, and the French player just able to gain that possession, but New Zealand being very aggressive in their drives up the wall, matching the French. But now the French team just trying to open this game up, a little bit changed from their first half tactics, which they managed to do successfully with an illegal stick infringement by the New Zealand side, just getting pushed back about 4 lanes out from the New Zealand goalbin.
Big flick by the French there on the take the puck, and he's found a sliver of space as he's trying to go up the wall, but the New Zealand defence has stopped him. Nice tackle and turn, taking back, fender back to the New Zealand forward.
Now strong tackle there by number 3, Nicky, for the New Zealand side, and the French did stop his tackle illegally using their glove, so the French players will be pushed back, and New Zealand will have an advantage, starting with everyone behind the puck. Interesting to see what they can come up with here. Nicky looking like he's taking that puck again. Big hit coming in there by the New Zealand number 7, getting that puck back to his forwards. Now Heath trying to come through. Will Heaps just trying to assert his dominance on this puck, but the French being very strong here, just putting some good pressure onto this New Zealand defence, but New Zealand quite happy just to swim this puck back into their own goal bin.
French taking it into the corner there.
Heath just looking up at the ref, wanting for a call. But the call goes against him, so it looks like the New Zealand will be pushed back, but we have a rest time out here.
We have a caution for unsportsmanlike conduct. France on the attack again with the free puck, on the advantage puck.
Number 3, Nicky, doing a nice strong drive out of his own back wall. Now that French player just regaining possession, flicking the puck laterally, but New Zealand picking that up and pushing it back to the wall. Thomas doing a nice defensive move there and just pushing that puck across to the wall and away from the danger channel in front of the New Zealand goal bin. But New Zealand again have another advantage puck close to their goal bin. The French coming straight down the middle, putting a pass onto their centre forward.
Yep, well taken by their number 3. But New Zealand have seemed to have deflected it out to the side as the play goes to the far wall, and New Zealand now themselves now trying to bring it out. Currently just short of the sub-spin.
Can't quite make out the players that are on the bottom at the moment, but New Zealand just holding that puck in the corner, trying to wear down this French attack. It's putting a good amount of pressure onto the New Zealand defence, but New Zealand rotating their players very well down the back wall, just able to slow this French attack. Multiple black hats on the bottom, but the French nor the New Zealand side giving an inch. and a nice break off the back wall, but we have a referee's call here, and it is against the New Zealand side for an advantage barging earlier on. So New Zealand will have to get down here nice and early and set up their position in front of the French team.
They'll have to be very careful about it too, because the number of calls that are going against them, they could end up with players in the bin.
Yes, a big flick going in there by the French fullback. Another flick coming in there by the outside back. Once the New Zealand recycles that. And now the New Zealand team just pushing that puck to the side. Heath just laying that off to Jackson. But again, another ref call against the New Zealand side for an illegal knockdown. So the French putting a lot of pressure onto this New Zealand side with advantage pucks. The French play down early.
All trying to snip around the side of the pack there, but not successful. Several black sticks in to block the path.
A lot of pressure on the New Zealand goal bin, but the New Zealand back did very well just to swim that puck across the goal, their own goal bin. But we have a referee's call. And again, we have another advantage puck for the French on the New Zealand goal bin.
This time I believe it's for breaking, though we now have a call for timeout, and it's timeout to New Zealand.
So Warwick just calling that timeout for his team, just with the multiple advantage pucks on their goal bin. He'll just be wanting to calm his team down and tell them to get this puck out sideways nice and clean before we can reset out of the middle, and then we can look to go off the wall.
Yes, the last thing he'll want is players being sent out, giving the French the numerical advantage, which will then increase the chances of the French scoring a puck. But the French got to be happy with this. They've been on attack all this time. Probably a little bit disappointed they haven't got it in the goal yet, but they'll certainly be working on it.
8 seconds left before the start. Nice, everyone down early. The whole New Zealand team down before the buzzer goes. That New Zealand forward just sitting quite high and doing a nice hit on that French fullback as he tries to put that puck in early. Number 10 Heath just assisting his teammates trying to get that puck out to the side. Now Jackson trying to turn and weave and try to find his fellow black sticks. Now Will Heaps just shielding that French player out into the corner and pushing that puck forward to Nicky on the wall. Just needed to gather that puck nice and quickly because he got caught by the French player who was coming back. Nice back tackle by that French player there. Now the French are recycling that puck. Now Jackson doing a lovely turn tackle from that French player. Just needed to give that puck to his number 7 instead of just leaving it there. Now number 7 doing a nice big drive, but that 45 flick that he tried to push through to Sam Marshall just being knocked down. Sam Marshall being nice and tight, just doing a lovely little stick tackle. And now the New Zealand team look to rip that puck off the wall and open this French team up, which they have done so. Lovely little drive here going from the New Zealand side, pushing the French players up down the centre channel, but France has numbers down behind the New Zealand players, and now France going a little drive, but New Zealand managing to get some fresh legs in and push the puck back, but we have a referee's call, and it's against the New Zealand side.
That was another good example though from the New Zealand team where they've been hard on defence and then they managed to turn it into an attack and actually make lots of ground out of it. Just disappointing the call's gone against them, because now the French have the puck again just inside the New Zealand half as they make their ground up the left hand side here on the near barrier.
Now that New Zealand forward just coming back, reaching in, Ben doing a good job there, trying to back tackle that French player. Now Tim Bavillard just recycling that puck back to the wall, trying to give it back to Heath, but a very strong drive here from the French player. Got numbers on the bottom, see if they can put a goal in, but no. Sam Twigg doing a very good job at just stopping that French attack and giving it out to his wingers. Now Heath just dropping that puck back. Sam coming in for a big hit there. Got teammates on the bottom on the other side of that French player. We'll see if this New Zealand team can open this French side up.
Both teams getting the numbers down there. Now there's at least 4 players, 2 from each side, at all times there around the puck.
Now we've got another call from the referees. Both teams getting some players into the sub bin. We have a stick infringement by the French, so New Zealand will be very happy to get out of their half. But we have France has called a timeout, so the French coach going in to have a chat with the side. Probably a little bit disappointed that their side weren't able to capitalise on the lot of pressure that they had on the New Zealand goal bin, but they did do well. They had probably about 3 to 4 minutes sitting up on the New Zealand goal bin, so they can do it. They can put some pressure on this New Zealand side, but New Zealand's still leading France 2-0 with just over 6.5 minutes to go in this second half. I believe this will round the round robin out for both these sides, so both of these sides were wanting to come away with a win to push them, give them some confidence going into the playoffs.
So I've got a couple of New Zealand players behind us having a good laugh as we attempt our commentary duties.
Have a pleasure of coaching these two ladies sitting behind us. So Will Heaps looking to turn this puck off the wall, jinking through a couple of players, but just getting hit by that French number 1. Number 7 there, just again getting hit by the New Zealand side. Sorry about that little camera mishap. Needing to remember to push these the camera buttons.
We have a referee's timeout. Not quite sure what they're discussing or considering.
So we've got an advantage puck for New Zealand.
Ooh.
With a French player heading to the bin. French number 7, I believe. So New Zealand want to capitalise on this opportunity with an extra player in the pool. Big flick coming across to his player. Now Jackson, the solid left-hander coming through, trying to open this team up, but not laying the puck back to any of his teammates. And now we have an advantage puck for the French for the illegal knockdown from that initial flick. So France will take this advantage puck, look to go back to the far side wall. They like to sit in front of, that wall just to get some fresh legs in every now and then. And like we were saying before, playing a very narrow game. And New Zealand trying to open them up. So here we go. The New Zealand winger doing a nice strong swim. Number 7 trying to push that puck forward to Ben. Not quite managing to do it. The French player intercepting it. Now Sam doing some strong swimming here, just trying to hold that puck on the wall. Just needs to get a little bit flatter on the bottom. The French players coming in nice and flat and strong.
They certainly were coming down their numbers. At one stage they had 4 directly behind the puck on the wall. A very narrow channel, only 1 or 2 metres out from the wall. They've managed to drive it right up to the corner, but New Zealand will be happy to hold it there, because the more time they spend in the corner, the more time is used up in the game for them. So they currently hold a 2-0 advantage. We have another call being made.
Number 6, I believe, is getting warned. Oh no, is getting sent out. So Sam Twigg, the captain, just getting sent out for a barging call. So the New Zealand side going down to 5 men. Sam being out for a minute with 4 minutes left in this this second half. The French will really want to capitalise on the opportunity here, being 2-1 down. A good opportunity for them just to put some pressure onto this New Zealand defence, but the French have an advantage puck called against them, so New Zealand just able to relieve that pressure a little bit, and now with 5 men in the water, we'll look to probably keep it close to their sub bin so they can keep the fresh legs in for the next 20 seconds, but they've gone the opposite way. They might be thinking that Sam's coming in earlier, so he can come in right onto the puck. Now they're looking to break off the wall. Number 11 swimming strong. He's got support on his inside, but that French player very strong swimming. 5 seconds left on Sam's penalty, so he'll be back in at the next start of play. And New Zealand having an advantage puck almost smack bang in the centre of the pool. So as soon as the puck's touched, Sam will be back in the water, and the New Zealand side will be back to 6 with 3 minutes left in the second half.
There we go, we can see Sam swimming across now. He's going straight to the subs bin, while the French try and take the puck to the far side, and we go for another referee's call.
And again, I believe it's going to be against the French, and he's given him a warning, so the French player will have to be careful that he doesn't do that again in the next 2.5 minutes, or else he will be spending some time in the sin bin. New Zealand a very tight formation here, everyone behind the puck. Little fake there from the New Zealand centre.
You can see there's almost 2 rows of 3 there, and New Zealand almost broke it through there, but the French managed to secure it, and they're coming down the near side wall.
French number 1 just holding that possession, trying to get it, recycle it to his fellow players.
So he got it to number 4, and he's recycled it through, and again they're on the wall, driving down the near side wall.
The French will want to score very quickly if they're having any chance to equalise this game. Big flick going in there by the French wing. Now New Zealand just trying to get that puck across to the side. Jackson doing a very good job of just getting that puck in the corner, but good numbers on the bottom for the French team. And we have another referee's call. This time is a legal knockdown by the New Zealand team, so right on the New Zealand goal bin. Time has stopped in this last 2 minutes with 1:44 left on the clock. We have a ref timeout. See if the French can put one in here with 1:40 left on the clock. Big flick in there from the centre back from France.
It's currently sitting to the side of the bin, the near side to us.
Sam Twigg doing a very good job of just pushing that puck out. Now he's got support on the bottom by number 3. Nicky just holding that puck in the corner. Sam coming back down, but the French managing just to pull that puck out of the corner before Sam gets there. But there's numbers on the bottom for both teams here. With 1:15 left on the clock, France will be very desperate to score. But New Zealand, knowing that, just holding that puck in the corner. The puck's coming out, so we know we shouldn't be caught on the corner rule here. But it'll be interesting to see what another illegal knockdown from the New Zealand side with 1:07 left on the clock. New Zealand having a lot of disadvantaged pucks on their own goal bin, and being able to keep them all out so far. So we'll see if they can do it again here.
France with the numbers down, trying to flick through the middle. It's gone out to the left-hand side of the goal again. And France have recycled it round. They're driving in. Lots of movement about on the edge of the goal.
Have another referee's call. One referee's signalling goal. Other refs are agreeing with him. And yep, so the French have had a goal scored here. Number 3,
Marcel, I believe. Marcel.
And it looks like there's a ref's timeout. Even though there was a goal, the referee looks like he's signalling to a New Zealand player to get sent out for unsportsmanlike. The captain, Sam Twigg, just having a quick chat with the referee, asking him a few things just to see why that goal was awarded. But it looks like it's gone in legally, but it looks like potentially Will Heaps is sitting on the side with 34 seconds left on the clock. The French will be looking to come straight down the middle here, but New Zealand doing a very good job of just pushing this puck out to the side. Number 11 just holding that puck, and now number 4 recycling that puck back to Sam, but he just given that straight to the French player, but managing to regain possession. Now Nicky going on a swim. He's got a player on the inside, and now number player 11, Ben, just coming onto the wall there. Tim nice and early on the wall. Have another referee's and that is the end of the game.
That is time up for France. Sadly, they could not score that second goal. tried as much. They in the second half, they certainly were more dominant than they were in the first, but it wasn't enough to peg it back to 2-2 for against New Zealand. New Zealand have taken the game 2-1.
So New Zealand's dominance in the first half definitely showed, managing to get 2 goals in. But France doing a very good job of putting some pressure on the New Zealand side, trying to get that goal in. But unfortunately for them, they were a little bit late to convert and couldn't quite get a second goal in. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and we'll look forward to talking to you guys throughout the playoff stages.
Thanks so much.
Here we go.